Rise, we are switching the conversation to something a little bit more cultural, and we're talking about Dia de los Muertos. We have with us the head of the Institute of Culture in Mexico, Belize, Mr. Francisco Zamora, to talk to us more about
everyone.
Celebrating Dia de los Muertos.
Welcome for the invitation and for the opportunity to talk a little bit about one important element from Mexican culture that we want to share with all the people in Belize.
Yes, let's talk about Dia de los Muertos in Mexico and the history behind how you all started to celebrate this day.
Okay, Dia de los Muertos have a very long roots. It comes from the pre-Hispanic civilization, from the Mayans especially, and goes even to the Aztecs. And the basic idea is very similar, is that we are here in this world as a part of a long journey. So here is just on stage, and our ancestors, forefathers, they just changed into another realm. They never left us. So even if they die, they're still with us. So in Dia de los Muertos, according to the mythology and to the traditions, the souls of our ancestors, friends, relatives, the people we take care and we love, in these days, they are allowed to leave the Mictlan, that is the underworld, the heaven, to come back with us. So the way that we welcome them is to create a shrine, and in the shrine we put the things that they like on life, especially food, because they are coming back to share this time with us and to eat with us, to have a conversation, remembering the good times. So it's we are creating, let's say, the portal so they can come, the spirits come back with us and to start talking about and having time with us. So it's not really a religious, but it's part of the element to be Mexican, because at the end we believe, well, okay, we are going sooner or later we are going to leave this world, we are going to continue the trip to eternity, but as long as someone remembers us, we are going to live forever.
So, is this considered kind of like a traditional identity as well, that the Mexican culture incorporates as well, would you say?
Yes, it's very deep into the Mexican culture, into the Mexican existence, let's say.
So in 2024, how relevant is Dia de los Muertos in a time like now? Has it still been kept alive in all these years?
Yes, and I must say that it's even growing. We are having like a renewal, recognizing that our roots are as important as ever and define us, and from that moment or that point we can continue forward to the future.
I want to talk about preparations for Dia de los Muertos, because I know you have the day that is the day that the souls do cross over, which is All Souls Day, really, but it's like a family affair, right? You have like an entire week of preparations. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, the preparation takes several days. Basically, you have to make a shrine. According to the tradition, you have to have several levels, and in the top levels you put the pictures of your relatives, your friends, even your pets. The Altar de los Muertos, el Día de los Muertos, is to celebrate the people that you love it. And you are start to put in some decorations and mementos or things, important things that the person you are going to honor, they used to use or to like on life. Sometimes there are like medals, or there are the watch, or even, I don't know, a small souvenir when you have a trip together. And then, especially the day, the first and the second, you put food, the food that they like it.
We were just talking about that earlier this morning, and how Belize, with its various cultures, including, of course, Mexicans living here, celebrate Dias de los Muertos, having even our own cultural aspect intertwined in that. But I do know that the Mexican Institute will be inviting persons of Mexican heritage, but even those who might simply be interested in learning a bit more about Dias de los Muertos to take part and view this cultural aspect. What can we expect from you guys?
Okay, first, warm welcoming to everyone. The idea is to let the people from Belize or independently the origin, to know a little bit more about an important element of Mexican culture, and to realize that we share a lot of things. I mean, at the end, I mean, the Belizean Mexicans, almost everyone, wants to honor their ancestors. And well, we are going to show, well, this is one way that we do in Mexico. And the celebration is not sad, actually the opposite. This is something joyful. And we are going, I mean, as a part of the celebration, we are going to offer some traditional food. We make a special bread called pan de muerto that looks like have like the fingers on top. It's very tasty. I mean, actually, we are also going to serve hot chocolate that is. You have to have it with the pan de los muertos. Of course, a little bit of mezcal or tequila for people of age. And we're going to have even some tamales, Mexican style. And music, and we're going to do a small ceremony, like trying to invite everyone to open the altar by lighting a candle. And at that moment, it's like when you start thinking of your relatives and you are like asking them to come to be with you at least for that moment, because I mean they are watching for.
Yeah, they're looking over us.
Yes.
Or over them. I want to ask about some of the other elements of the celebration, because we see a lot of texture, a lot of colors. I even saw on the ground kind of like sawdust as well. Are those elements of Dia de los Muertos significant?
Yes. For example, one very important element is flowers.
Okay.
We use it's in Spanish. Well, it's called cempasúchil. It's a pre-Hispanic word, but it's the marigolds, and we make like a road like that. That is the road of cempasúchil. That is to guide the spirits from the
other plane.
from the underworld to follow and to reach the altar. It's something like the follow the yellow line.
Brick road, got it.
Yeah.
Actually, they got inspired from
Mexican culture. Yeah. I wanted to discuss, because there's a lot of people technically take this type of tradition and they kind of mimic the skeletons, the Catrina, and so forth.
Yes.
What is the significance of these types of elements?
Well, of course, one is like aesthetical, because it's something. It's a Catrina or Catrin in Spanish means like fancy, like dandy, like really well dressed. And the origin is it was kind of a social critique during the Porfiriato period. But that is because at that time people dressed like really elegant.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like to remember, it doesn't matter how rich or how poor you are. At the end, we are going to finish on the same place. So it's to remind us, okay, we are here, we are going to die, but we are not really dying, but continue in another part of the journey without our bodies. So the death is not to be feared, but it's just to something that is going to happen. Just continue the trip, and we are going to be always with our friends, because they are start thinking of always of us, because we believe as long as someone remembers you, you are going to be living with them.
I really love that you brought this element into this conversation, because I think for a lot of people, when our loved ones pass, we don't necessarily think about them after they're gone, right? We don't think that they're still with us. We don't have this particular sense of they're somewhere continuing this journey. And then that gives them a different relationship with death. So this particular culture embraces this type of tradition, right? And so we keep them living on forever. This particular history, this element for Mexicans and Mexican culture, what does it do for your patriotism? What does it do for your nationalism as Mexicans?
Okay, well, so one is, I think, is an element of a common identity. So, I mean, nationalism has several elements, but one is identity. So if you believe in something similar, well, you want to, I mean, to protect your people, because they are part of your people and you want to help them. So that makes the Mexican people like united. because at the end, I mean, you are going every place that you go in Mexico right now. If you go to Chetumal, you will see in every store, in every shop, the altar. I mean, and it's dedicated. I mean, for example, in a shopping store, well, they're dedicated to the people who used to work there, who already passed away. So they put pictures of the former colleagues. If they're in an office, well, they are going to put also the people who used to work there. And in the houses, of course, is the relatives, the grandmother, the uncle. So there is always a connection between your community, but not like your actual community, but this, let's say, in another realm, in the older generation that is already in heaven, looking after you from there. So it's like three-dimensional and a temporal sense of community, because you are belonging from the past and the present, and you are going to leave something that people is going to remember you as a part of the community, even in the future when you are no longer physically here.
So let's talk about the festivities that surround Dia de los Muertos, apart from having a meal with your ancestors that have passed. You all are doing an altar here in Belize City and in Belmopan. What can folks be looking forward to when they get there, apart from sharing the meal and so forth? Are we going to be learning traditions? What can we look forward to?
Okay, also Mexican music, Mexican traditional music. There is like a sub-ranger or certain style of music that related with the Dia de los Muertos, like very traditional, with of course with a lot of pre-Hispanic influences. And the celebration depends of every altar or every people who is doing. There are towns that is a huge party. I mean, they do like big dances. For example, one of the most famous places is called Janitzio in Michoacán. It's an island, and they have the celebration that lasts for 3 days.
Oh wow!
Yeah, something, and they have like dances, like parades, everything with the theme of death is not the end, but the continuation of the journey. And your relatives, your forefathers, your friends, some already start a trip, and you are just being late, like, oh.
We are late
like
to the event, yes.
But at the end,
That's kind of like a light-hearted way to put passing away as well, and perhaps there are ways that we can appreciate that too. So, of course, we do know that the festivities begin today at the Mexican Institute. Is there a particular time that persons can start visiting?
Yeah, it's going to be from 6. You can arrive a little bit early, but the ceremony and we're going to give a small speech trying to explain. It's going to be from 6 onwards.
Okay.
And the altar is going to be all this week until next Friday. So if everyone wants to see, to have a look, take pictures, I mean, because it's something that we want people to remember. And especially we want to invite the people to start following the tradition, because at the end it's the same. I mean, we have fathers, we have a grandfather, grandmothers, we have sons, we have a pet. I mean, we have people we love that already go into the journey, and we want to keep them for living forever in our hearts.
It's very similar to Hanal Pishan and Finados that we do celebrate here in Belize. I believe there's some small cultural aspects that are different. I know that for us we don't do like the skulls and the Catherine, and I know that the flowers are definitely significant to like Mitzlan, right?
Yeah.
But we do have the ofrendas and the altars and so forth to do exactly what you're saying. Remember those that have gone before us. Do you expect that person should bring something of their own to remember, dedicate to their ancestors? What can people do to be a part of the celebration?
Yeah, but of course they can bring something. Usually there are like pictures or something significant for if he have like a medal that he win doing exercise on something that this is like my pressure or something. It's the thing that you put on the altars.
Okay.
But mainly a photograph.
So all roads lead to the Belize Mexican Institute in Belize City. Where, for those that don't know where it is?
Okay, it's at the corner of Newtown Street and Wilson. It's just at front of the sea.
Yes,
you know.
Newtown Barracks.
Newtown Barracks, and it starts at 6.
At 6
Yes.
p.m. Mhm.
Awesome. And of course, you also have the one in Belmopan that's on the Ring Road. That it also they begin at the same time.
At the
right?
same time, yeah.
At 6. Wonderful. Well, Mr. Zamora, thank you so much for joining us this morning and having this really interesting conversation. I think we have a newfound way of appreciating the
Absolutely.
afterlife, right? Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and again, thank you for the invitation, and just to let me share a little bit of the Mexican culture to the Belizean people, and we invite you to come to visit the altar and to start your own tradition at home. I mean, at the end, it's just to remember the people who you love, and as long as you remember, they are going to live forever.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's all about supporting Dr. X Friends Fundraiser. Don't go away. We'll be right back.